Kean University hasn't had a men's golf team since 1986, and they've never had a women's golf team at any point in time. But all that changes this year. My first guest is bringing a new life to the golf program at the school by serving as head coach of both teams. Joe Yeck, welcome to the show, and thanks so much for coming on this morning.
Thanks, Mike, for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
So first off, Joe, can you talk a little about your golf journey, how you first found a passion for the sport, and how you wound up at Kean University?
Yeah, so my experience in golf really started right before high school, and I'll take it back even one step further, back to my dad. My dad was a longtime high school basketball coach, coached a few other sports in high school, and really from a young age, I had the opportunity to kind of see his experiences and be around his coaching opportunities. So it was really fun, seeing that firsthand from a really young age. And then I played, college golf, college basketball at a D3 school in Pennsylvania, and really ever since then, after getting into the working world, I really started getting into coaching. Been at a bunch of different schools, and I've loved the game of golf. There's a lot of really cool things that you get to do and be a part of with the game of golf. So yeah, I've been associated with sports and colleges within the New Jersey, industry and state for a little bit over a decade now, and very familiar with schools in the ONNJ. One of my previous coaching stops had some connections and knew some people at Kean, and it was perfect timing. I'm really thrilled, Kelly Williams and everyone with part of the athletic administration and around campus at Kean to allow me to have this opportunity. Our kids are here on campus now. They're ready to get excited and ready to get going and really build it from ground zero. So we're ready to roll.
And Kean is happy to have you. Now, you were hired last year as both the men's and women's head coach. Is your coaching approach different with each team? Tell me about that.
Yeah, so I've been fortunate enough to coach men's and women's golf at a couple different schools over the last decade. And yeah, it's a little bit different. I think really the day-to-day is pretty similar. There might be some differences in recruiting. Unfortunately, with the women's side, there's just not as many women golfers. But the cool thing is it is a growing sport on the women's side. So yeah, there are some differences when you're trying to recruit student athletes on the women's side to come to your campus. But the day-to-day, yeah, practices, maybe at times you're a little bit more laid back. You try and keep it a little bit more fun with the women, but they're super competitive as well. And, really right now it's just about building the culture and bringing in the right student athletes that you want to be, part of, our program and move forward with. So yeah, it's just, it's a really exciting time.
Now, Galloping Hill Golf Course in Kenilworth, how great is it to call that your home course? Not only because it's a great facility, but also because of its proximity to the university.
Yeah, Galloping Hills is great. I've been able to work with them, for several years now. They're very flexible. They allow us to get out on the course throughout the week, even on weekends. As you mentioned, they have a great practice facility. So with our practices, we really mix it up in terms of getting out on the course, working on the range, working with our short game. We're big on competition, even in practice. So again, every practice is going to look a little bit different, but they're great. They're very supportive. We have an upcoming first home event coming up here in a few days. So yeah, we're really excited. I know there's a big buzz on campus. Galloping Hills is really excited to host us. So yeah, it's a great opportunity for our kids, and it's really close to campus. So that's a big plus too. Quick 5-10 minute from campus, and our kids can get out there very easily.
Now let's talk about the teams. Who are some of your key players, and what are some of your strengths going into this season?
Yeah, with a new program, there's a little bit of unknown. I think on the men's side so far, we've had some great qualifying and competition to try and see who's going to play in those first couple tournaments. We do have a couple kids with experience coming from some community colleges within New Jersey, Patrick Murray and Logan Perrone. So we're going to lean on them for some leadership and some of their experiences already playing college golf. And it's been great working with some of the freshmen. I think being such a young team, I think, is really cool because we get to grow each and every day. And, they're going to get experience right out, at the get-go. So we're going to kind of see where some of these kids are. And college golf is a little bit different than high school golf for sure. But, yeah, it's been a fun few weeks getting to know everyone. And, I think we're going to have some depth as well. So we'll be able to plug some people into different tournaments and not lose a beat. On the women's side, I think they're still a little bit unknown. They're really excited to get going. I feel like a bunch of them are kind of in the same boat in terms of their experiences playing a few years of high school golf. Two of the girls I feel like may have stood out a little bit in qualifying so far, Hannah Whitfield and Kenzie Pierce, both freshmen. So yeah, it's a fun time, these next couple weeks. And as I mentioned, they're all young. We're going to be really young playing in a lot of these tournaments, so there's only room for improvement.
Now, what are some of the tougher schools you'll have to go up against this year?
Yeah, I think the cool thing about college golf and the unique part about it is you don't have to have a set conference schedule. So we get to kind of pick and choose who we want to compete against. I'm big on competition. You'll hear that a lot from me. So I like to play in the better tournaments with the better teams, the better players. I think that just allows our players to grow and see what they have to improve in their game so that we can continue to climb up leaderboards. So we get to travel to really cool courses, places across the region. We're going up against teams all the way up as far north as Massachusetts and Connecticut. We're playing schools down in Maryland and Virginia. So it's a good mix. So it's you get to see different schools, different times of the year. So we're ready to compete and get going.
Now, last question, and I'm curious about this answer. As golfers, you're teaching them to be winners, but coaching is so much more than that. What are you trying to teach these student athletes as people?
Yeah, so every kid that comes on our campus and their parents and families that part of the recruiting process, I always try and keep it in this order: 1, health and family; 2, academics; and then hopefully golf's a close third. Being a new program, we're trying to build that culture right from the get-go. So we want to bring in student athletes who we know are going to do well in the classroom. They come from good backgrounds. They're going to represent our program and our university in a positive manner. So it's really about building that culture. We want, obviously to compete and do well in tournaments, but at the end of the day, as a coaching staff, we want to really grow our student athletes. We want to prepare them for life after college. So, allowing them to be independent, showing accountability, becoming leaders, going out of their comfort zone and trying new things. So that's all part of the college experience. We want them to have a fun experience, be competitive while they're doing it, and really grow as individuals.
Fantastic. Well, Coach Yeck, thanks so much for taking the time this morning, and all the best to you this year.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it.
Our very own Lisa Marie Falbo was recently at Giants Fan Fest. She has the story when we come back. Giants Fan Fest took over MetLife Stadium as fans gathered to celebrate 100 years of New York Giants football. From the youngest fans to the oldest, the event was a perfect mix of history and excitement. ONNJ Sports' Lisa Marie Falbo has more.
We're here at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford for the New York Giants Fan Fest, sponsored by Wendy's. And it's a special one because Big Blue is celebrating their 100th season. Let's take a look at all of the fan fun.
One of the biggest highlights was the parade of the team's top 100 players of all time, as fans cheered on the legends who made Giants football what it is today.
It's wonderful. It gives us a chance to get to see them, the Giants, old players and the new players, so I'm having fun so far.
Wendy's, the event's key sponsor, brought the excitement off the field as well. Fans participated in interactive games and walked away with exclusive Giants merchandise and prizes.
This is the Giants having 80,000 people come to the stadium, regardless if you have the money or not. No cost for parking, no cost to get in, and just have a good time with your family. What's Wendy's all about? It's all about family. It's all about Dave Thomas and do the right thing, give something back. Giants are giving something back here. We wanted to be part of it.
From on-field activities for kids to up-close moments with their favorite players, FanFest was a day filled with memories for Giants fans of all ages.
It's a great event. I've been attending the event since I was 3 years old, and this is one of the best events because it's 100 years. So let's go Giants.
I get to get autographs, you get to play, you get to be with my friends, my family, and stuff like that.
It's amazing that Wendy's would do this. I mean, you got all these fans here. It's awesome. All the fans are together. It's really it's inspiring.
Yes, go Giants! Yes, go Giants!
The night was capped off with a breathtaking drone and fireworks show, lighting up the sky in Giants blue and red, a fitting tribute to 100 seasons of Big Blue. Reporting from East Rutherford for On New Jersey, I'm Lisa Marie Falbo.
What a way to celebrate 100 years of Giants football. It's clear that the Giants fans are ready for another century of memories. Up next, a New York Yankees legend. Stick around. Well, any baseball fan who grew up when I did certainly knows my next guest. Bernie Williams helped lead the Yankees to 4 world championships, and now he's leading the charge against a disease called idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, a disease that sadly took his father in 2001. Bernie joins me now along with Scott Stazik, the Chief Executive Officer of the Pulmonary Fibrosis Foundation. Bernie and Scott, I can't thank you enough for coming on this morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having us.
Of course. So idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis is a disease which in essence causes scarring of the lungs and can make it difficult to breathe. Bernie, can you talk to me about your father's journey with the disease and how it impacted you and your family?
Yeah, it started, first of all, thank you so much for letting me tell my story. My father, Bernabe Williams Sr., started with, a dry cough and some fatigue that actually never went away. And that was basically started our journey through this process, dealing with idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis. It was very frustrating for us as a family to deal with it because we didn't get the diagnosis early in the process. It took us about 5 years to get the right diagnosis. And then around that time, there was not a lot that we could do for him. So that really motivated me to really pair up with Boehringer Ingelheim into this campaign called Tune Into Lung Health to try to bring more awareness about these diseases because we found out that a lot of people may have these diseases that they may not know about. So I think it's just to be of help to the community that we serve.
And Bernie, after reading about this, I realized that 2001 must have been a very emotional year for you. You lost your father to this horrible disease. 9/11 took its toll on the city. The Yankees lost to the Diamondbacks in a World Series that everyone was rooting for New York. And arguably, that was the last year of the championship dynasty because many of the core players left the team after that. So my question is, how were you able to overcome the challenges of that year?
Well, I think losing to the Diamondbacks was probably the least of my worries. I just having just a chance to really process the loss of my father and deal with 9/11. Living in New York was very challenging. I think being part of the team that sort of brought some sense of normalcy to that very tragic event and the months that followed was definitely a pride of me being a baseball player in the first place. I think we found ourselves very lost in that period of time, thinking what is our purpose as baseball players, but we found really a great way to express ourselves and really help the nation heal. With playing those games, even though we lost the series, I think that was a really important part of my career, and I always mention that. But when it comes to my father, I never really had an opportunity to process his loss after he passed. It was just a really important part of my life at this time, trying to bring awareness and just keep the memory of my father alive by doing this, helping a community that has been afflicted with idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, which is one of 200 diseases that are in this umbrella disease. And I've been, it has made my life better for it.
And Scott, how do people's personal stories, especially from someone as well known as Bernie Williams, influence your mission and your outreach?
It's critical to have this partnership with Bernie. The Pulmonary Fibrosis Foundation was founded 24 years ago by a family who was directly impacted by the disease. We're also staffed with a number of people who are impacted, including myself. My mother passed in 2015. Pulmonary fibrosis. The diagnosis process can be elongated, and many times people are told they have some other more common disease. And so there's a strong need for building awareness. And so having someone with such a high profile as Bernie is critical. And so our partnership with Bernie and Boehringer Ingelheim on the Tune Into Lung Health campaign is highly important.
Now, Bernie, you advocate for a program called Tune In to Lung Health, which explores how music and breathing can help patients and caregivers cope with this disease. Can you talk about how the program works and the kind of impact it's had over the years?
Yeah, it has been a very positive. I think, bringing, this aspect of information and education and having, sort of a source of resources for the community that is afflicted by this disease is a really important part of my awareness and just raising awareness about this. Well, I mean, the website, which is tuneintolunghealth.com, has a lot of resources for the people that come in and see it. We have music, and try to utilize the healing power of music, in coping with the disease, not only for patients but for caregivers. We have a playlist of some of my favorite tunes. We have breathing exercises by a vocalist named Eric Vitro. We obviously, take for granted, our ability to breathe. And people that are afflicted with idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, every single breath is so precious. So we try to enhance their capabilities of breathing by providing breathing exercises and just information, and so people can be better educated about the effects and the symptoms and all the things that we need to know about ILD, and has been a really great resource for people that come in and visit, and just really feel great to be part of that.
And Scott, September is Pulmonary Fibrosis Awareness Month, but pulmonary fibrosis is not something everyone knows about. What are some of the ways your foundation is bringing attention to this disease?
Certainly. There are a number of different ways during September. The first is that we're collecting stories from individuals who are impacted by a disease, whether they be patients, caregivers, family members. And the theme for this month is Every Breath, Every Story. When most people are diagnosed, they'd never heard of the disease previously, and so they feel a sense of isolation. The purpose of this campaign is to be strong and have them be part of a larger community and be an advocate and bring awareness for others to learn about the disease. We also have a national walk program at the foundation, which is in many cities throughout the country. And although it's a really critical program for us to raise funds so that we can execute on our programs, it's equally important to have a sense of community and have a physical gathering with people impacted by the disease. We also have Interstitial Lung Disease Day on September 18th, which we will be partnering with 8 other disease organizations. And with that, we will do an educational webinar, and that will include as part of our medical advisory team at the foundation, and she's also a pulmonologist at Johns Hopkins. And then finally, one of the things that we do during Awareness Month is we have a campaign to light up historical buildings and monuments around the country blue. And this year, for the first time, we've been able to achieve all 50 states participating in this initiative. And so, as you can probably understand, the awareness building throughout the month of September is critical. And so partnering with Bernie and Boehringer Ingelheim in efforts such as tuneintolunghealth.com are extremely important in building awareness.
Well, Bernie and Scott, thanks so much for all your work. And again, a big thanks for coming on this morning.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Head over to ONNJ.com for the latest news and sports anytime.